I'm here. I'm back. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that 5-minute break. I needed to stretch my legs as well. So I hope everyone got to do that, shake it out a little bit, which is really cool. We've had 2 really good speakers this morning so far. I've loved talking to them, Kalita and Jess. Now I'm going to be bringing someone all the way from Perth to the stage. Jodi Reilly, welcome you to the stage. Jodi is an international certified Tantra and results coach, which I just think sounds absolutely amazing, intriguing. And having followed some of your social media lately, I'm like, oh, I want a piece of that. So I'm interested to hear more. She's also a former CEO and she is a trauma-aware practitioner. So Jodi, all of this sounds really amazing. Tell us a little bit about all of this and what it is exactly that you do.
Thank you very much. Welcome to everybody. And, it is amazing. And first and foremost, it's most amazing for me because, even when I study something or I speak something or I share something, I often wonder, is that for me or is that for them?
Yeah.
So I think the same with my teachings as well. So now, apologies, what was your question there?
Just tell us. Well, it's actually funny that you say that. Like when you think about the things that you need, I'll just jump straight into this. When you think about the things that you need, even Kalita was saying it, if you listen to yourself and you listen to your audience, that is what's going to drive the content and product that you provide for others because you see the need. So what I'll get you to do is just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do as a certified Tantra and results coach and a little bit about what got you there from being a former CEO?
Wow. Okay. So if I put it in a nutshell, I support people to transform their relationships from the inside out. So what does that mean? It means that we have a whole lot of stuff that we're carrying through life that we didn't ask for. And and that causes our limiting beliefs, our self-sabotaging, our low self-worth, our lack of value, whatever that has caused or given us. So I work with people to go in and we just dive in under the layers and have a look at what lives there. We just get curious. So diving in, no shame, no blame, no judgment, no criticism. It doesn't need a label. Just go in with a torch, have a look what's in there, and then we just clear that out so they can go on and live their best, most authentic life. And fall deeply, madly, and unapologetically in love with who they are so that they can go and share that with someone else in a relationship as well. So when we wholeheartedly love all of ourselves, and this is not just, I love myself when I'm this and I love myself when I'm that. I love myself when I'm loud. I love myself when my joke falls flat.
Yeah.
I love myself when I get it wrong. This is all really important because I spent a life of not loving who I was, not liking who I was, not knowing I had any self-worth. I had no boundaries for myself and anyone else, and I disrespected myself and others at any turn. And I took people that would have me.
Mm-hmm. What brought you there, Jodi? So you've mentioned that you were previously a CEO. Well, I've mentioned it. So what has brought you from being a CEO to then going and start, falling into this Tantra and results coach space?
When I was the CEO of the media company, and so I had a team of 100, and I realized that I was more of a glorified pen pusher and a firefighter. So I was just running around putting out fire after fire after fire, and I'd lost my creativeness. But as part of my role, when I was there at the newspaper, I also had to organise all my own events and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's kind of fun. So I realised that the tool that made me successful in that role lived in here. So I could leave that role and still have everything I needed to do whatever I wanted to do. So I handed my resignation in. I gave 6 weeks notice. I said to my friend, I feel like a terrible employee. She said, no, you're probably just a normal one now. Yeah. Because I was also a workaholic. Mm-hmm. So I went and started a marketing and event management company because media was my background. Mm-hmm. And so I sat at coffee shops and looked at people's shirts and labels and logos and would go over and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jodi. I do marketing and events. And because I'd been the CEO of the newspaper, I had a a brand. My name was my brand. And so I built a business up doing that 13 years. But because I had no boundaries, I became a slave to the business.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I couldn't say no because I was saying no to everything. And so I got burnt out. I felt like an octopus except with 10 million hands going in every direction. And I remember one of my clients asking me, this is really interesting, right? So I'm consulting in, award-winning events. People would change dates so that I could do their work for them and things like that. Someone messaged me and asked me to grab them a kettle on the way in. Now, yeah, right. Because I had no boundaries. I was a yes person. Yes, I do that. Yes, yes, yes. So I really had to, I just thought there's got to be more. There has got to be more. When I was doing events, I knew that I was easing a pain because that overwhelmed somebody doing, an event and so then I figured, what is that next level of easing somebody's pain? So I discovered, so telling my girlfriend there had to be more to life, She said, I met somebody in Mexico that talked like you. You should follow her online. So I followed her. She happened to be in Perth. An event came up and I went to it. Now, this was an introduction to Tantra. And I wasn't even sure what Tantra was. I'm like, isn't it swinging off the chandeliers, doing stuff? Yeah, it's not. The true essence of Tantra is to know thyself. Mm-hmm. Now, whoa, right? So I remember being at this weekend event and, we had to dig deep and go into a pain and stuff, a place that I just don't hang out in, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just say we had to get vulnerable. Now, didn't know how to spell it, didn't know how to do it, didn't even know what it looked like at all because I was Tonka tough. So anyways, we're in there and I'm looking around. Someone next to me is crying and I'm like, who's that? Like, oh, I wanted to run. I wanted to hide. I wanted to get out of there, right? I didn't. I stayed and I sat in my vulnerability. And it was only when I walked out the door that I realized the weight and the strength that it took for me to go there. And that changed my life.
No, that's interesting. We avoid any sort of hurt and I guess facing some, not all the time, but it's hard for us to take that leap and go in and actually face those vulnerabilities or dark places, that have touched us all. So it's very hard to do. So then, so Tantra is just about going in and dealing with, is it like somebody sits there and asks you specific questions to trigger and pull that information out?
100%. We don't want to trigger people in any way, shape, and form. Someone may, we wouldn't trigger somebody, not intentionally. Somebody may get triggered. And I say that because you may get triggered right now by something that I say unintentionally. And all that is nothing to do with me, but everything to do with you. Yep. So it's just, that's the kind of stuff I'd write a note and go, oh, when Laurie said that I was triggered, I'm going to dive into that. So I would do some self-reflection, self-discovery. And while I'm doing it with self-love. Yep. So that is really there. So look, when we are taught Tantra, we are taught, like they say, the 8, the black and the white and every shade of grey in between. So, and you as a Tantra practitioner, 1,000 of us could train. 1,000 of us could set up a store that says Tantra practitioner, and you could go in and not one of us see the same. Mm-hmm. Now, why is that? Because depending on what is our passion, our pain, our experience, our driver, is what we, provide as a service as a Tantra practitioner. Now, some go into sexology, some go into, in Sanskrit, the genitals, the lingam and yoni. Some of them go into lingam and yoni massage because they have healing benefits. They are great reducing cancers and all of these things. So it's very broad. Me, I had a life of unhealthy relationship. I had a lifetime of not loving who I was. Mm-hmm. I had a lifetime of limiting beliefs. I had a lifetime of unhealthy coping mechanisms. I didn't drink a lot, but when I drank a lot. And so this is what I'm passionate about, helping people fall in love with themselves, madly, deeply, and unapologetically. So for me, Tantra is know thyself. So a session might look like coming in and having a conversation like this and saying, hey, what's been going on, Laurie? Oh,
Yep.
well, this. Oh, cool. What happened for you there? Let's dive into that. Where did that take
Yep.
you? You know, what weren't you getting in that moment? Let's just have a look at that.
So you've
It's very
started,
gentle work.
yeah,
It's beautiful, gentle work, but it
it
is
sounds,
diving in.
it sounds kind of soothing as well. And I think all the time when you do, the more you speak about it, sometimes that can be quite therapeutic in itself. So what I was going to ask you though is, so you've actually started 2 companies, probably more, but the 2 that you've mentioned. So you've pivoted a few times from CEO to your media marketing company to your coaching company now. How do you start fresh and, I guess, build a audience and a following to get your business off the ground and running?
My number one thing is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're right, like I also started a Aboriginal mental health Thursday training business with a friend. So, we went out, consistency, keep showing up, keep doing what you do consistently. And it's hard, Laurie, I was talking with a friend yesterday and she was saying, oh, are you going to take a day off? And I'm building this business, right? And I said to her, day off? Are you building a business? Like I'll take a break or whatever that is. But primarily for me, it is I just jump in with 2 feet, and I love it. I learned from listening to Jess as well. But I just jump in. I keep showing up. I take up opportunities like this. I connect with like-minded women. I follow like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like honestly, I would say starting my coaching business has been one of the hardest businesses I've to ever get off the ground, because people have to know, like, and trust you. And how do they know, like, and trust you if they don't even know you exist?
Yep.
So, sorry.
So what are you doing to get yourself out there and, allow people to like and trust Jodi Reilly?
I show up at if there's an expo, a booth at some events that it's aligned with my values. Maybe it's a yoga day. I'll show up with that. I recently, emailed a local council and said, hey, I'd love to run some empowerment stuff free for the community. And they said, great, tell us more. International Women's Day, I created a swim and a meditation and had like 100 women turn up to bask in the moment of the freedom of being themselves, really, because we have this, we put ourselves in a box, in a frame, and I must show up this way and I must sound like this, and also I must prioritize everybody else under me. And it's like, no, let's just bring that in. So I just keep showing up. I have a look at opportunities and I create opportunities. I often drive an 8-hour round trip in a day to volunteer at events. Wow. I do that often. And I pack a mattress in the back of my car in case I need to stop and have a sleep. But I will just keep doing and keep showing up. The other day, Laurie, my credit card got cut off because I am so invested in myself. I am 100% backing myself. I'm getting this business up and running, and I'm doing a lot of great things, and it's yet to bring me that financial flow. Mm-hmm. But I'm okay with that because I 100% know this is the path that I'm meant to be on now. I back myself fully.
So you found your purpose.
100%, I found my purpose. And when I did that weekend event of Tantra, in there, I had this 2-second conversation with a lady. I said, how did you get here? And she said, oh, my friend's a Tantra practitioner and she told me about it. I was like, what is that? So afterwards, I Googled it. And within 48 hours, I'd signed up to study as a Tantra practitioner. I just knew when I discovered Tantra that I had come home. This is what I needed to authentically, deeply, and madly fall in love with every part of myself instead of seeking external validation to quantify whether I was a good person or not.
Mm. Yeah, oh gosh. I think the biggest thing for us when we're starting out, like, you're in a good position, you've got an amazing network with all the previous work that you've done, and we have to learn to leverage off that network and connect with people. So there's a lot of people that have good networks, but they struggle with that connection piece. And what advice would you give someone? how do they go about connecting with people and leveraging off a network?
Get out there, like have a look in your area. Like, is there a women's group? Whatever, who's your target audience? Whatever your target audience, what is out there? Is it the men's shed? Do you want to go and talk with the men's shed? Do you want to go hang out and have a coffee? Go to the coffee shop. Go to networking events. Go to closing events. Go to conferences. Whatever it is, have a look and just keep showing up. Like putting your face up there, because people say, "Oh, what are you up to now?" And then that's an opportunity. You dip the toe and you wait for them to say, "Tell me more." And then that's your opening to say, "Hey, practice though your pitch before you go. Who are you? What do you want to say?" Because the more you practice, remember, the mind knows no different. You have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before and the same the day before. So practice it, and then your mind just automatically goes there and says, "Hey," and it knows it to be true.
And so, is your primary focus your Tantra coaching, or is it the trauma-aware practitioner stuff, or are they combined?
Such a great question. It is all combined. What I specialize in is helping people transform their lives from the inside out. So do it holistically. So all of my teaching combined, all of my mental health training, all of my the trauma-aware. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. Like, I study all of this so that I can holistically help people transform their lives from the inside out. And some of it is not, for me, as easy as going in and saying, "Oh, okay, Jodi, you have a, you keep doing that. You keep seeking external validation. Let's just work on that." Sometimes it's actually diving that bit deep further and going, why are you hanging on to it? Like, is there a secondary gain that is outweighing your desire to change there? And I'll give you an example, like maybe a hypochondriac. Like, stop being a hypochondriac, stop doing that. But they have this beautiful soul-nourishing second gain, which is the feelings that, that live in the shadow. They want to feel loved. They want to feel appreciated. They want the attention, and that's what they get. So it's not always just, it's often, it's not what we see on the.
Yeah. Can you share an example of a time where you've had a pretty significant setback, but you're a woman that's like, you are motivated, but we all have setbacks and we can be knocked off our little pedestal for a little bit. What is it that motivates you to continue chasing your goals?
What motivates me is that I want to fail fast, because the faster I fail, the faster I succeed. So taking those moments and just having a look at them and thinking, what might I like to do differently? That's the question, not what might I like to quit. So just keep going ahead, planting seeds. Some take off and some don't. And just self-reflection. What do I need to change? So just jump on in and give it a go. The other thing I always say too, Laurie, is if somebody, calls me a redhead 20 times, doesn't make me a redhead. It doesn't. So somebody might say something about me, but it doesn't make it true. Now, my old self would have 100% believed them, and I was running self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, the negative narratives. Oh, you didn't need to judge me. I was doing it myself. So when you did, there was the evidence. They're right. You shouldn't do this. So it's having the skills, the tools, and the knowledge to combat that, to say, no, that's not true. That's not true.
So if someone is to criticize you, particularly on social media, how do you handle that?
Oh, I had a beautiful case recently, actually. And it was triggering for all of my friends because I left it there. They were like, please take that down. And I said, no, because they said it doesn't make it true. So, and the beautiful thing about that was that I was able to walk my talk. So I was really grateful. Had that not happened, I wouldn't, I say, I would react or respond like this, and respond, not react. And then it happened, and I had that opportunity to respond. Now, the difference between react and respond is when we go into our place of pain, our wound, our trauma, we react, right? And we project our pain. But instead, I was able to breathe, come up to soul, and respond and see that other person's pain, because what they have to say doesn't have anything to do with me. They're seeing it through their lens, their pain, their wound, their trauma. And I just respond, Like, it doesn't actually have anything to do with me, but I wish them well. And I really did. I just thanked them for trolling and scrolling and literally wished them well.
Does it trigger you at all though? Like, I mean, if someone, I was saying, I think I might have been saying this yesterday, I don't know, the days all come together these days, but you know, a lot of us feel like we care what people think of us. So even though that person doesn't know us, and we can kind of forgive or just forget that they've said that because they don't know me, but as your friends are all seeing that. And even people that don't know you so well that are starting to follow you, but they see a negative comment. It's like a review on Google or something. Someone puts a bad review, it triggers a lot of people. How do you recommend we get past that?
That's such an interesting question. I don't know how I can recommend that someone else get past it. Like, believe in yourself. Like, you know, honestly, what other people think of you. And I know we're in business, right? I know we're in business. And I've spent a lifetime in business of worrying what other people thought of me and delivering on that.
Mm-hmm.
I just say, what other people think of you, honestly, is none of your business. What you think of you is everything. When you show up that way, when you communicate that way, when you do everything from that space, it doesn't matter what other people think. Now, I might lose the follower because they think what they think. I'm okay with that, because to do the work, people have to be ready as well. If people go through my page, they'd be like, I don't think that that's an accurate reflection. Maybe that person's got stuff going on. Maybe they will think that, maybe they won't. It honestly doesn't matter to me, because I know who I am. And honestly, it has taken me a lifetime to get here. So I will keep showing up honestly. I will keep showing up authentically. I will keep speaking from my absolute heart. And that may trigger some people as well. I can't do anything about that.
Yep.
But if they want to come and work with me, to dive in and say, hey, let's just have a look what lives there, because that's really what doing the work is. And with the right person, it can be gentle and it can be nurturing. And it can be this beautiful, amazing journey of self-awareness, self-realization, self-love.
I think sometimes it's good just hearing from other people, you know, how you deal with it gives others the courage to go, okay, that's what I need to do. And we can all get better at responding to criticism like that. So, Jodi, tell us, who has been your biggest inspiration in getting you to where you are today?
Me.
Yeah.
I really, really have. I've had a lot of support along the way with, I belong to, group coaching groups, and I've had amazing women in there that just really honestly support you. So this is not just blowing smoke up somebody's thing saying that you're good. This is actually, also saying, hey, Jodi, I'm hearing this, is that right? And you're like, oh, yeah. So it is me backing me. It is me continually showing up, even when I don't want to, when I want to crawl under the doona, when I am judging myself, and I'm like, is that true? So I ask myself then for evidence. Give me the evidence, Jodi. Give me the evidence that proves that. And I can't find any. I'm just self-sabotaging. So I honestly admire the person that I have become, and that I have backed myself in times that I wouldn't. Now, there's a lot of people that I'm appreciative towards throughout this journey, because I didn't have an income. So, and I want to share this with you because it's a really good thing people can do. So I went out and I went to people and I said, hey, I don't have the money at the moment, but I need your services. So I went out to my local physio because I needed physio, and I said, I could do gardening, I could do admin, or I could do marketing. She was like, no way, I'd love marketing. I went to a photographer and was like, hey, the same thing. Would you like coaching? I went to an amazing, food planner, and we exchanged coaching for meals. So this is how I got myself through, and amazing people in the community.
That's incredible, isn't it? And such a good tool is we forget to do things like that. But again, it's having that courage to do that as well sometimes. But now that you've just shared that, I feel like that's you know, such a good lesson for people to realize, because there are people that have new ideas and they want to take a new leap, and everything does cost something. And if you don't have that something being money in this particular case, what other resources do you have that you can trade?
Yeah.
Get a similar service and stuff 100%. Like that.
And having a look at what other skills do you have? You know, like, this is my absolute wholehearted passion. This is exactly where I'm meant to be, but I have side hustles. I have side hustles to help get me there. You know, my daughter the other day said, Mom, I've never seen you, like, you know, so I used the word, you know, broke. And I'm like, I know, but I'm like so close. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing, like helping people transform lives from the inside out more sooner than later. They can start living their best, most authentic life that, you know, I wasn't living. You know, so do what you can that aligns with your values, 100%. You know, my friends were like, come for dinner. And I was like, I can't really afford to cook dinner. And they were like, just bring garlic bread. Yeah, so it's a joke now. I go to my friends, they're like, just bring garlic bread.
Yep. Garlic bread, Jodi. And a kettle. And a kettle. No kettle.
Yeah, I know. No boundaries. No boundaries. So I remember when I started setting them, and it was like, and I tell my clients this, right? I said, it's only your first one. It's like that. Then it's like, ooh, what other ones can I set?
Yep. Yep. Well, that's incredible. Look, Jodi, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I'm sure many of the women that are in the Sisterhood Collective, not only today, not only in the VIPs, but when we share this again a little bit later down the track, will get a lot of value from hearing your story today, and will no doubt look up your services and find out all about Tantra. So I appreciate you joining our summit today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for hosting it and, you know, helping change the lives of so many beautiful humans. So have an incredible day.
Thank you so much.